Welcome back to my channel. This week I'm highlighting a project I did as a birthday gift. And it was a crochet project, and as always I have all of the information, the links to the pattern, my notes, everything I'm going to forget on my Ravelry page for the project. And this is a project that turned out really well, and I know I'm going to get requests to make more of these. So definitely had to make lots of notes to remind me of changes so that I can go back and reference those in the future. Now, the birthday person gave me a pattern that they wanted and asked very specifically if I could make this cropped sort of version of a crochet cardigan for them. And it was a lovely pattern. It's very beginner friendly, as you'll see, but we did make some changes because I think maybe the longer version would have fit perfectly in an XL, but the crop version, because it ends at the waist, was definitely much too large in the XL. And so we ended up flipping between a couple of sizes as we crafted this shorter version. Now, they also provided me with 4 bundles of this yarn, which is lovely. It worked out well. I just have to wear gloves because I'm allergic to wool, but I only used 2.5. And again, the pattern for this was using a 4-weight yarn. So in order to match the gauge for this, I ended up with this 5-weight yarn going to a 6 hook. So again, just a slight adjustment. And I'll come back to the final sizes because that's what was sort of a bit wonky here. So partly maybe because of the 5-weight, but I think also if I tested out the long version of this cardigan, which I will in the future, it could have been perfect. So we ended up doing a weird kind of combination of large and extra large. And so I did start with the extra large when I kind of did the bottom hem. The birthday person popped by one weekend and we realized it was massive. So I was quickly taking a bunch of measurements. While they were there, I kind of frogged, the ribbing out really quickly. It was easy. And when we ended up looking at what we were down to fit the waist perfectly, I was down to the large size. So I frogged it back to 135 rows, which is kind of the large. Now, I also measured this person's, hem to underarm, which was about 11 inches, just because I thought maybe I'm really off here on the pattern. But as we continued up the bottom part of the body, it worked out perfectly. So I just, again, followed along with the, proper number of rows, and that measured really nice, 10.5 inches to take me to the underarm. And then with this pattern, you do put some gaps in, and you're creating basically one massive piece that has a gap so that you can fold over the 2 front panels over the back. So when I did the first front panel, and again, now I'm looking at, am I a large, am I an extra large? The 22 rows that the pattern calls for a large and an extra large didn't really give us enough room for this person's bust on the front. Didn't look great. So again, I just added a very slight number of rows, 2 rows, to maybe also give me a little bit more room for putting the piece together. Now, the pattern did have a weird note about beware because, there's something about, this pattern that is going to create extra length. I didn't really understand the note. It might be a cut and paste from another pattern because I didn't find that at all. So at 20 inches, this worked out really well, and I moved on to the arms. Now again, for the size large, extra large, the ribbing on the arms was 8 inches, which was helpful. But what I didn't want to do was, the pattern calls for you to make this flat and then, spend a lot of time kind of piecing the arms together. So I just crocheted it in the round, which was a breeze. So I, even for beginners, would recommend doing that and saving yourself a bit of hemming. So you're making 2 sleeves, and I knew that I didn't want anything longer than 15 inches, including the hem, because again, I had measured the person. but I did leave the cuffs open just in case I had to make some changes to fit those. I didn't, so the pattern was perfect on that as well. And then it was a very simple assembly when you have the sleeves in the round to just connect them to the body. So you're basically attaching it across the top shoulders, which I actually just did with a slip stitch, and then I sewed actually with a mattress stitch, the arms on. So the final sizes for this piece were a weird combination again of the large and the extra large. I'm just showing you what it looks like on me, which is not an extra large, so I'm a size medium by comparison. And then I did actually want to include a second piece that they had asked me for. So there is another video on the rest of this gift, which is a lovely wheat sheaf hat and gift set that you'll find in an earlier video I posted as well. So as always, thanks very much for all your supports. Please, if you like our videos or you don't, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. The feedback's really helpful. We appreciate all the subscriptions. We are trying to raise funds for lots of amazing charities, and so your support really helps. And I would recommend, if you're looking for an interesting beginner-friendly cardigan pattern, do try this. It worked out brilliantly, and again, I'm going to look forward to making lots more of these for great gift ideas.